Treasures of Chanukah, illustrated by Greg Hildebrandt. The story of the Maccabees. It was on the 15th day of the month of Kislev that the messengers of King Antiochus set up an idol on the altar of God, and had incense burnt in its honor. And they gave orders that the people of Judea should forsake the law and the covenant, profane the Sabbath, and pollute the sanctuary. And many chose rather to die than to forsake the holy covenant. And the king's officers came to the city of Modi'in, and said to Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simon the Hasmonean, a priest of the sons of Joarib, who dwelt in Modi'in, "Thou art a great man, and strengthened with sons and brethren in this city. Come, then, and fulfill the king's command, as all the heathen have done, and the men of Judah, and they that remained in Jerusalem, and thou shalt be in the number of the king's friends." But Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, "Though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him, and fall away each one from the religion of his fathers, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. God forbid that we should forsake the Torah to depart from our faith, either to the right hand or the left." And when in the sight of all one of the Jews came to sacrifice to the idol, Mattathias was inflamed with zeal, neither could he forbear to show his anger, and he slew him, and also the king's officer, and the altar he pulled down. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, "Whosoever is zealous of the law, and maintaineth the covenant, let him follow me." So he and his sons fled into the mountains, and they went about pulling down the heathen altars, and they rescued the law out of the hands of the Gentiles. And the days of Mattathias drew near that he should die. And he said to his sons, "Be ye zealous for the Torah, and give your lives for the covenant of your fathers. Remember what our fathers did in their generations. Was not Abraham found faithful in temptation, and it was accounted to him for righteousness? Phinehas, our father, for that he was zealous exceedingly, obtained the covenant of an everlasting priesthood. David, for being faithful, inherited the throne of a kingdom for ever and ever. Throughout all the ages, none that put their trust in God were overcome. Therefore, be strong, my sons, and show yourselves men in behalf of the Torah, for therein shall ye obtain glory." And he blessed them, and was gathered to his fathers. Then Judah, called Maccabee, rose up in his stead, and all his brethren aided him, and they fought with gladness the battle of Israel. He battled like a lion, and the lawless shrunk for fear of him. He cheered Jacob by his mighty acts, and his memorial is blessed forever. And when all the people feared and trembled at the sight of the great number of the enemy, and said, "What? Shall we be able, being a small company, to fight against so great and so strong a multitude?" Judah answered, "With the God of heaven it is all one to save by many or by few. And all the people shall know that there is one who redeems and saves Israel." And Judah led them into battle. And behold, the hosts of the enemy were discomfited before them. And Israel had a great deliverance. And they sang songs of thanksgiving, and praised the Lord of heaven for his goodness, because his mercy endureth forever. And on the 25th day of Kislev, the same day when 3 years before the altar of God had been profaned by the heathen, the sanctuary of God was dedicated anew with songs and music, and the people praised the God of heaven, who had given them great victory. And they celebrated the dedication of the altar for 8 days, and there was great rejoicing among the people. Moreover, Judah and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar, Chanukah, should be celebrated from year to year for 8 days in gladness and thanksgiving.